Welcome back to the Just Create SMP, where last time we built a windmill behind our starter base, and now we're underwater for some reason. That's not a very good shot. Oh, no, there it is. There's the windmill up there on the hill, and now we're looking at Frank. Not sure he really needs to be in the intro, to be honest. Now where are we going? Oh, it's Stam. Hey, Stam. That's a fancy looking cape. Right, I've got some building to do. Good news, we've got lots of power going. I've just sort of stuck this platform out the back here. We'll probably do something out the front here eventually as well. But I've got 3 of these windmills now, which means we've got over 24,000 SU. I've attached them all together with chain drives. And now what I need to do is get the power over here, because today we're going to be finally building that workshop I've been talking about for about 3 episodes. Turns out it's really easy to get distracted on an SMP. But essentially, I just want to get a bunch of automated processing things in here just to make my life a little bit easier and to save me having to run over to Stam's or Chosen's house anytime I need something. Oh, hello. That's new. That's looking awesome. Looks like Eggs has been busy. But anyway, workshop. Right, the first thing I need to do is to get the power from there into here. And I think I'm just going to go underground for that. Well, that was easy enough. Power has been accessed. Now what I want to do is work out where exactly I want to put all of these machines. And I need to work out what machines I actually want. And I think despite what I actually want, we don't have a lot of space down here, so we're probably going to be quite restricted. So let's think about this. We probably want to have a couple of smashers so that we can flatten stuff nice and quickly. Then we'll want a deployer next to that because it's always handy to have a deployer. So let's quickly get those 3 in and then we'll work out what we need next. Which means we've got a little bit of work to do because deployers are not the most straightforward things to make. So we need some electron tubes, we need a brass hand, and that should be everything for that. And we want a couple of these. All right, well, that was nice and straightforward. Next up, we want a mixer. So we're going to want a blaze burner for this as well. Let's stick that underneath. Place that with a slab just so it's easier to access. Then we want a basin and a mixer on top. And to be honest, I kind of want a second one of these setups. So let's make another whisk, another mixer, and a basin. We'll put those in there. And what I want to do is pump water into this basin here. And we'll go across the top here to get some power to these. Let's just rotate this round. Let come down and put a cog there. That's the mixer's powered. But if I want to be pumping water into one of these, it's probably a better idea for me to switch these round. And we'll stick a pipe into the bottom of that. Then we just need an infinite water source in there. So I need to go get some more water. Then if we just put a cog and a couple of shafts in, then there we go. We're always going to have water in there. So that means it's going to be a lot easier for us to make things like cardboard and other things that need water. Mud. Yep, there you go. Mud. That's another one. That's going to be handy. And I guess we can probably get away with putting a millstone on the end there. So barrels at the top and the bottom, millstone in the middle. All right, that's a good start. I mean, it looks pretty ugly, but we'll tidy that up later. For now, at least we know we've got some basic machines in. But I want a few more. Although I don't have a lot of space, which is a bit of a problem. I mean, I could put a mechanical crafter in here. There is a 5x5 area, but I would quite like some crushing wheels, I think. Means I might need to take some chunks out of this wall. All right, so they should be spinning the right way for some crushing wheels. I just need to actually go and make some, which means I guess we're going back to Foxy's. He's got a mechanical crafter. Ow! That was mean. Pesky zombies. Oh, and there's a creeper in a boat. Jeez, getting dangerous around here. Right, so crushing wheels. I believe it's as simple as this. Yep, perfect. Then we'll just chuck these on there and there. Look at that, wonderful. Then we'll put a chute there and there. Barrels there and there. Wonderful stuff. Quite like some cookers though. But we don't have a lot of space left, which means I guess they're going to have to be vertical ones again, which is not what I was hoping for. But I think 3 bulk smelters sitting here would be quite handy. So let's get some power over there first. If we do that over this side here, I can do that. Get a couple more of them along, get some fans in. Yeah, this should work a treat. So I'm definitely going to put in 3 lava ones here, but we've got the space, so we might as well put in a haunter, a washer, and a cooker as well. There we go, something like that. I'd say we've managed to jam quite a few more machines in here than I was expecting. But we're not done yet. It looks horrible. Let's make it look good.
Done.
Now that is looking much better. A little bit tidier anyway. And I've also cluttered up all around this area here, made it look a bit more like a sort of storage area, considering this is my storage guy. But for now, that leaves this building complete. Now on to the next problem. Food. So currently, I've just been stealing Stam's potatoes from down there, but it's all very manual and I'm not a fan of that. So I think what we're gonna do is some stuff around the back here. I reckon we can get a nice little crop farm in here somewhere. We're probably going to need to build out this ledge a little bit, do some terraced farming potentially, and I mean this just looks like a little lake, doesn't it? Maybe we can terraform around here and make this look cool as well. But let's start off up here. I'm going to grab some blocks and mark out an area. Oh, and I've also put some filters on this bit here, just so I can separate things out a little bit better. And I did that by placing filters in the stock ticker. So you can group things up however you want. You can then name them however you want. It's very cool, but it's going to make it much easier for me to see what things I've got at a glance, and I can also collapse these down, which is nice. And I mean, I haven't sorted everything, but I've done a bunch of stuff. So let's just use the landscape that's already here a little bit. I think I'm going to actually divide this up a little bit. So let's put in maybe a water channel here. Because if we were to do that, we can just have some water flowing out, going down into a lake. For no reason other than it should look cool. And for now, I'm just going to fill in these walls, tidy it up a little bit. We'll come and add some texture later when we actually terraform this area. But I would quite like to get a feel for how this bit here is going to work. So something like that should do. We can maybe put some water wheels or something in as well. That could look cool, but we'll come back to that later. For now, I want to sort out the farm. It doesn't need to be anything too big, so I reckon if we were just to do one here and we had it maybe 4 blocks out from each side, so literally just one small plot, then that should work quite nicely. So let's build ourselves a small little farming contraption first. So we're going to need a water wheel, some shafts, casings. We're also going to need to make some harvesters. But it looks like we're running low on andesite alloy, so let's get a bunch of that mixing up as well. And that means we can use our shiny new mixers. Can we still use this one even though it's got water in it? Still going to work? It is. Excellent. And we're going to need 4 of these. That's why we need the extra alloy. And we're also going to need a mechanical bearing. Okay, so if we put a bucket of water down here, a water wheel, a shaft, and a mechanical bearing. We'll stick a barrel in there. Let's just check what way that's spinning. Okay. And we're going to need some temporary blocks down just so we can actually stick in our harvesters. And I just need portable storage interfaces. We stick one of those on there, glue all of this together, and there we go. This will become the basis of our crop farm. But let's stop it this way round so I can actually connect up the storage interfaces. So we're going to want one of those there. Then we need somewhere to store stuff. And I was going to send it up to the storage up there, but we're already getting pretty full, to the point where I've added another vault. And by full, I don't mean full. Each of these vaults, if I stick a threshold switch to them, are only showing about half full, but they seem to have stopped adding stuff in. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest with you. I'm already regretting the way I've made this system, but it's okay. This is only going to be for a short term. We'll eventually build a proper storage area where we won't have these problems. But that means we're going to need to store these somewhere else. Oh, nighttime. But I think I've got an idea. If I was to remove this bit of fence here, and I've got a packager right there as well, so we could even tie it into the ordering system. This could actually work quite nicely. So if I was to build a vault, say here, and I'm going to need a few more vaults. So let's make a bunch of barrels and a stack of vaults. Now, I want to make sure this doesn't encroach on where the farm's going to be, but I reckon we can get away with a pretty big vault here. And other than directly from the farm, I don't want things to be going into the vault, so it should be quite simple to set up a little retrieval system around the back here so we can still tie it into our main storage network. Which means I need a packager, and I'm going to want some item drains. That's probably going to be the easiest way to do this. I'm going to need some space in my inventory. And I've discovered the first thing I'm missing from my workshop, and that is a wood stripper, which usually I use the Farmer's Delight slicer for. That is really close to my face. But this is Just Create, so we don't have that. I'm already thinking we might need to add another building later on because, yeah, we're definitely going to want a lot more things in our workshop. Essentially, we need a bigger workshop already. I've outgrown it before I've even used it. Good job, Beardy. Great planning there. Anyway, so item drains there and there. Packager there. Andesite funnels. And I'm going to need a stock link. Oh, which means I need a transmitter, which I think is that. And then do I stick that on a vault? I do. Look at that. Learning the new recipes already. So let's get this linked up to this one. That can go on there. That is now all connected. Then we'll do this for unloading the farm. I want to put a brass funnel on that one, though. Need some brass, and I need some kelp. Oh, and I'm going to need electron tubes as well, actually, because these are smart. Oh, dang it. I've got to stop doing that. So, brass funnel there. Bit of scaffolding just to tidy this area up. Just going to add a little bit of structural support to this because, yeah, that wasn't really working at the back there. The floating storage port was bothering me. So we're almost ready to plant the farm and get this thing running. However, I want to make sure that, well, because this is spawn area, that we're being nice to our server mates. So that means I want to put a limiter on this, which is not the word I meant to use, but it's the one I'm rolling with now. So threshold switch, that's what I need. This vault can hold 900 stacks. So let's set this to 850. So the threshold switch is going to emit a signal once this is over 850. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't interfere with anything else we've got going on here. In fact, I'm just going to play it safe and move it a bit further away from this. I just don't want it to mess up the actual storage retrieval system. That would not be good. And then we're going to need a couple of redstone links, so we need more transmitters for those. I'm pretty sure redstone links actually used to be brass, didn't they? But they're andesite now. But I guess all that means is we can get access to them early game, so yeah, not a bad thing at all. And something else I'm going to need is a clutch. So we're going to put the clutch in here. Oh, I didn't glue my fences on. And the creeper went off. Oh, dang it. Not the best start, Beardy. Right, now, where were we? Redstone links. So, we're going to put one of those on the clutch. And because we're on a multiplayer server, we've been quite smart with our redstone links, meaning we all have our own items that no one else is allowed to use in their links, and I must always use. So my items are slabs. So, every time I use redstone links, I must have a slab in one of the slots. And that means they're never going to interfere with anyone else's, because no one's allowed to touch slabs. Does that make sense? I feel like I explained that really badly. But we're going to set this one to receive. We're going to stick one on the threshold switch with a matching signal, and we're going to leave that one as it is. So that will send a signal whenever it gets redstone. So if I switch this round, you can see that's sending a signal, which is being received over here, which turns off the clutch. So if I right-click on the bearing here, you can see it's not actually starting up the farm. But if I put that back to normal, there we go. The farm is now going. I've still not stuck it on. Right, finally. There we go. Now, next up, we're going to need water for the farm, so I'm going to put some on the edges, using my sneaky infinite water source below the basin. And now we just need to carve out the field, plant some crops, and we should be good to go. Like I say, it's not the biggest field in the world, but it will definitely do the job, and being at spawn, it means it's pretty much always going to be running whenever anyone's on. Now, I just need to work out what I want to plant, so we're going to have some wheat, we're going to have some beetroot, not that we're really going to use beetroot that much, let's be honest. And I also want some potatoes and carrots, but we don't have any of those here right now. Not a problem, we can loot the town. Oh, and it looks like Eggs hasn't realised we've got Create Oxidized in the pack, because it's a very convenient Create add-on to have. So let's steal a line of potatoes and a line of carrots. We'll be good citizens and replant them as well. We'll grab a few more beetroot as well. Now, we're going to be smart about this, because I believe if you plant things in rows like this, then they actually grow a little bit faster. And there we go. So that's definitely going to help with our food situation. I mean, we're not automating any of it, like we're not turning the wheat into bread or anything like that, or cooking the potatoes or making golden carrots. But at least we're going to have a constant supply, and the wheat's going to come in very handy for making things like mud as well. Packed mud, more specifically. Now, although the farm's in, it's still not looking very good out here. Not very good at all. So let's see what we can do about that. Now, let's start this off with some oak fences. Maybe let's mix in some leaves just to break it up a little bit. And I think we'll mess up the ground a little bit with some coarse dirt and maybe some rooted dirt as well. I'll tell you what else we can do. Let's just plant some crops kind of out the range of the field, because they'll grow, but they'll never get harvested. So it will just add a little bit more life to the area. We're going to stick in a little bit of a path here. And then I think we'll have a little bridge that goes over to that side, but we'll tackle that in a moment. Let's get this area finished first. So maybe just a few tufts of grass here and there. And we could do with a bit of light as well. Maybe what we can do, if I stick a light up there, let's go get some barrels and things. If we just do that, then the light kind of blends in because it looks like part of the stack. We'll do similar things elsewhere. Let's stick another one around the back here. And maybe we can do a random stack of stuff in this corner as well. We're going to use some of these cardboard blocks just to mix it up a little bit. Gotta love a bit of random clutter. Now, let's do this bridge. And I want to keep it nice and simple, so I'm thinking we could literally just do this. Stick a railing on the side. In fact, we'll just mix in a bit of the weathered stuff as well, because it looks cool. Now, lastly, what with this being a farm, I reckon we should have some wheat. Maybe something like that. We can put, like, little bits on the floor as well. Ah, I've run out. I need more wheat. Hurry up, farm. Although we could make it hurry up, I suppose. We really need a little bit of extra wheat here. All right, that should do it. That's better. And I think that's that side of the field done. And it's just started raining. Oh, I think that looks quite nice. We've got a lot of terraforming to do around this area here, and I really do want to sort out a path that runs along the front here, but we'll get to that later. For now, I think we're going to get some texture in this wall, maybe add a couple of water wheels. I think that could look cool. And then we'll work on making this side look nice. And I don't know, I am thinking a nice custom tree could look awesome here, just hanging over the edge. Problem is, if it's me building it, it probably won't look awesome, but we can give it a go. Not very good at custom trees, but I do like to try every now and then until I get frustrated that I can't make it look like a proper tree. Oh, hello. Some of Frank's buddies are looking for him, and a straggler. We'll just leave them to go about their business, I think. Now let's start with this water channel here, and I think I want quite a lot of mossy blocks. The problem is, I've only got a tiny bit of moss. They're very full inventory, but I wonder, I may have a way of solving the inventory problem. So if we make ourselves a couple of shulker boxes, we can kind of use these as backpacks, because if we shift right-click, we can open them directly. I can dump loads of stuff in there. I mean, it seems to kind of place it above my head, which is a bit weird, but then as soon as I back out, it's back in my hand again. But they work as a kind of backpack, and they're going to be very handy. So we're going to keep a couple of these on us at all times, I think. Right, so I want mossy stuff. That means I need more moss. I've only got a little bit, but we can go do some bone mealing, and we should be able to get it quite quickly. And I know just the place to do it. If we just smash through this wall briefly, should probably put a proper entrance in there. But if we go down to our mines here, I can just make a little hole. In fact, this hole will be perfect. Actually, no. Maybe we want a wider floor area than that. This tunnel here should work fine. We're just going to bone meal a whole bunch of it up, and then we'll have all the moss. Look at that, loads of moss. Oh, hello. What's going on down here? I think I'll just leave those two alone. So let's work this out. If we're going to have water running off the edge here, I feel like this is somewhere it's going to be quite mossy. In fact, I'm going to get a few mossy stone bricks as well. I feel like it'll probably get reasonably mossy under the bridge here as well. So let's add in a bit more down here. That should do the job nicely. Now we're just going to add some water in. Going to shove a few bars in there for safety. And I will extend that water out shortly, but first I want to... Oh, hello. Well, first I want to sort out the walls down there, but we've got to deal with a slight creeper infestation first, it seems. In fact, I could do with making this lake a little bit deeper in the middle. That's a good start. Now, if we're going to have water wheels in here, we're going to need a big old bit of space and get those in there. Now, let's just mess up these walls a little bit, get a bit more moss around the edge where the water is. Oh, fell off. Now, when the water comes down here, it's going to carve out quite a lot at the bottom of this lake. So let's make a nice big hole down the front here. Try and make it look a little bit more natural. In fact, let's just quickly make the whole lake a little bit deeper. I've dug out the lake a bit more and left loads of blocks scattered about, apparently. Let's just quickly clean up a little bit. But before I do any more, I actually want to get the water in so I can see how it's looking properly, because I don't actually know how high up we're going to bring it yet. So first up, let's just finish the top area here. That should do nicely. That's got me water wheels going. Now, the trick when filling up lakes is to go from the bottom, because that way we can make sure that every layer is full and it's all going to flow over the top, and we're not going to end up with weird holes in the middle of the lake. Oh, and it's getting dark again, and it was a creeper party down here earlier, so we should probably go sleep. Now, let's just get this lake filled. I reckon about that level should do nicely. And we'll make all of that look nicer later. We'll do some terraforming around the lake. But for now, I want to focus on the top bit up here. I do want to get a bit of a path in. I don't know where it's going to go. Maybe I suppose it should link up to that one there. So probably just a little path around there. And I want to try and build a custom tree. And I kind of like the idea of having it hanging over the edge with the roots sort of coming down the walls. I think that could look really cool if I can pull it off. But I think while Stam's on, I'm going to go and grab his attention. I've got an idea. Now, where's Stam? He's got to be around here somewhere. Stam! I don't think he's here. But he's not been gone long because he's not gone into sleep mode. He hasn't got the Zeds above his head. I'll just stand here and stare at him till he comes back.
Hello?
Hello. We've got a problem.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, well, I've got a problem.
You've got a problem?
Yeah, but you might have the same problem, though.
Oh? Okay.
So, I've built myself a lovely little workshop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
That one, yeah. You were standing in the doorway, so I couldn't see it.
And you've built yourself a lovely little workshop.
I have built myself a lovely little workshop.
We need a big workshop. We need all the other machines. Well, you've been to Foxy's basement, right?
I was just there, and I was like, I need a better workshop.
Oh, really? Right. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is definitely our problem then.
Yeah, it's an our problem. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking. Follow me. Over here, on this vertical cliff face, obviously the perfect place to build another building, right?
Oh, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe
just a little bit of terraforming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little bit of terraforming. Build a nice, bigger building down here, and we do like loads of mass processing things in it, and things that make precision mechanisms, and just all those sort of slightly more advanced machines than a basic workshop. But instead of us both making them, we just build them and share them.
You know what? That sounds like a really good idea.
Awesome. So I'm thinking a building there, and if we need more space, like, we can just gradually work our way down the hill towards the creeper boat. There's 2 in there now. There was 1 earlier.
The double creeper boats.
Yeah, they're multiplying.
I'm sure if we did one, I mean, I'm sure Foxy wouldn't mind if we built a little building there and connected it up with a bridge to his island.
Oh, I don't know how he'd feel about a bridge. He does like his seclusion.
He has told me multiple times that I should build him a bridge. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll just work our way down the mountain then.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sure we'll be able to make something.
Nice. All right. Well, I might get started on that fairly soon then, because, yeah, I built my workshop, and then the first thing I needed to do in it, I realised I hadn't built a machine for, so I got a bit sad. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. So if we build a joint workshop, then I've only got to build half the amount of machines. That's my thinking. But we'll get to that later. For now, let's finish making this area here look a little bit nicer. So now we've got our workshop plans. It's time to... Ow! Get out of it, you. So now we've got our workshop plans. Let's switch to time-lapse mode and get this area looking nice. Oh, I've got an arrow in my bum. Started with the tree and quickly remembered why I hate building trees so much. So I went into a creative world to design it and then blasted it into existence. I was fairly pleased with the results, and that was definitely a much better way of me doing it. It kept me slightly more sane. I then spent a bit of time adding that path that I mentioned, added a few rocks and a bit of foliage, and now here we are, and this area's looking pretty nice. And yeah, the tree, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better than what I would have been doing in survival. I really do need to practice my trees, but I've been saying that for almost 5 years and I've never done anything about it, so let's just move on, shall we? And move on we did, by tackling the terraforming around the lake. I started by adding some rocky areas comprised of tough cobble and mossy cobble, combined with a smattering of coarse and rooted dirt. But barely had I got started when Stam paid me a visit.
Hello, I am in a predicament.
Okay, what is your predicament, sir, and how can I help?
I need technical help.
Technical help? You sure you came to the right person?
No, but you're the only one I have.
Okay, good. As long as you're aware that I will probably be useless at whatever technical help you need.
It's fine, it's fine. So this guy, if you look at this, he has a bunch of packages in it.
Yep.
And my vault is full.
Yeah.
And I have more vaults up in that other building.
Yep.
But they go past this one first.
Yep.
Do you have the same issue?
Yep.
Yep.
Would you like to see my solution?
Yes, I would love to see your solution.
I've got a little setup here, but basically, I've just got a timer system set up with funnels. So every 3 seconds, it unlocks the funnels briefly. So any packages that are sitting in those frogs get dropped. And then this one picks it up and puts it on the chain, and then it goes to the next one. And same thing, if he can't pick it up, then it gets dropped, and then it goes back on the chain, and then it goes to the next one, and so on.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that actually... Yeah, I mean, that's actually pretty smart.
In a huge surprise to both of us, I was actually helpful. But I then immediately got back to the lake, adding more rocky outcrops, muddy areas, and also adding some bits onto the lake floor itself. I used leaves to enhance the lake edges, creating some floating green muck, and I'm sure that's the technical term, and then bone milled the lake bed. I keep saying lake, but it's more of a large pond, really, isn't it? And where does all this water come from? And where's it go to? It doesn't even make sense. I then added a path up to the large pond that will eventually link round to Chosen Space and the campervan area, but I decided it was time to fish. So I built a small jetty and added a small campsite, and as the sun dropped, I relaxed while seeking some dinner. A quick cookout at the campfire later, and I was enjoying my fish supper when I got jump scared by a zombie and ran off to bed. Well, that's looking pretty good down there now. I'm very pleased with that. In fact, I'm very pleased with all the progress we've made today. We started off with power, we've added a workshop, we've even added a little farm out the back, and we've done some terraforming. And there's a bit of a janky tree as well, but we don't need to talk about that. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. What is that in the background? That's new. Yep.